Still he was this, but ultimately he was not satisfied. So what he did, that is the next verse. नाति प्रसीदत् हृदयः सरस्वत्या तटेषु च वितर्कयन् विविक्तस्थ इदं चोवाच धर्मवित्. Please read quickly. Translation. You start, Prabhuji. You keep on reading, no problem. Mike will come to you.
At once began to reflect because he knew the essence of religion. Then he said within himself.
Yeah. So he said within himself. So what happened? He did vitarka. He did vitarka means what? He conjectured, considered, he introspected. And he did that vivikta. He was sitting vivikta only. And then he had a dialogue with himself. So actually, this is very important for brahmachari. This opulence we have in brahmacharya. Because we have to deal with one person. That is our mind. If you can deal with that, you can deal with the whole world. That's what Avanti Brahmana says in the beginning. That the root cause of all problems is mind. Nobody else. So the swadhyaya, the introspection is very important part of our life. But introspection should happen. Introspection is called in Sanskrit what? Nididhyasana is not introspection actually. Reflection. Introspection is swadhyaya. Swadhyaya has two meanings. One is swadhyaya meaning is one. What is that? Studying the scripture, which Krishna has told as brahmachari dharma. So which is very important. And with that foundation, one has to study oneself. So adhyaya. Study yourself. And okay, what is given, what is happening. Right? So have thought. So that's what he said within himself. And when he did that, when he was dissatisfied. So that's what the sage began to search out for cause of not being satisfied at heart. Perfection is never attained until one is satisfied at heart. This satisfaction of heart has to be searched out beyond matter. So we have to see when we become satisfied. It's very important. And we may become satisfied when we are glorified, when a lot of results come, or we do something very nicely, and that's very good. But the more important satisfaction is when we are doing it, not when we end. When the process is being done, that time, that is what is pure devotional service. It is not about at the end. So that is beyond matter. When we are trying to please Krishna and Guru and Vaishnava in our process. So when we become happy, that is the question. And when, so that's why the other question is when we become dissatisfied. When results are not there, then we become dissatisfied. Or when we become dissatisfied. So that's why we have to see, because it has to be searched without, it is beyond matter in the proper practice of process. And I think this Buddha who was explaining very beautifully that जो भक्ति के लिए करते हैं उनको भगवान आदर करते हैं. जो भक्त भक्ति के लिए करता है मतलब he practices bhakti to develop bhakti, not for anything else. Such person is respected by Krishna. So Prithu Maharaj, he was giving class here, that time he was saying. And when we do that, then we need to use our intelligence. When other thoughts come, then cut the wrong thoughts at root. That is building of intelligence. And when we do that gradually, then he says that then we reach Nishtha stage. And Nishtha stage, one gets two installments. One is satisfaction. And second is the strength to sustain that satisfaction because of practice of pure devotional service. सो जो भक्ति के लिए भक्ति करता है उसको भगवान आदर करते हैं, लाइक दैट ही वाज basically practice of pure devotion. So this satisfaction is a very important aspect of Krishna consciousness. It has to be there in the process, proper process. So he started talking to himself, right? So even Tukaram Maharaj says, I think what is that? आपुलाची वाल, anyone knows Marathi here? आप आपला वाल आपल्याशी, like that there is one Abhanga which says that. But it has to be based, as I told, Swadhyaya means that introspection of that wall should be based on Shastra. Otherwise, there can be, as I told, their mind commentary is going on. So one can talk with oneself, but it should be based, the foundation of that talk should be what? Shastra. What is that? The introspection is not whimsical. Introspection is not sentimental. But introspection is scriptural based. That is important. That's why he is now having felt dissatisfied. Now he is seeing what activities I did. So he reflected his activities. It is the next. Please read the translation.
I have understood disciplinary vow unpretentiously worship Vedas, special ministers, the order of sacrifice. I have also abided by the rules and have shown the implement of the subject situation with the explanation of the Mahabharata, by which even women should, as in others, transcendental God, can see the path of reasoning.
Yeah. So he is just okay. See, feeling is coming negative means some action is negative. So let me see what all action I have done. So he thought, okay, I have done this, I have done. So that is another thing which is important. Next. तथापि बत मे दैयो यात्मा चैवात्मनां विभु असंपन्न इवा भाति ब्रह्मवर्चस्सतमः. Though I myself yeah, so I did everything correctly only. Still I am feeling apurna. So Vibhu is that tapo jnanadhi paripurna. Although I was capable to do all these things, still Daya means I am situated in body. My Atma is not satisfied with myself. Asampannaha, wanting something not complete, incomplete, unsatisfied. So that's what he is saying. Please read this purport.
Undoubtedly, Sri Vyasa was complete in all the details of Vedic achievements. The division of the living beings submerged in the matter is impossible and described in the Vedas. But the ultimate achievement is different. Unless it is retained, the living being, even though fully equipped, cannot be situated in the transcendently normal stage. Srila Vyasa appeared to have lost the clue and therefore felt dissatisfaction.
Yeah. So here Vyas is glorified like Brahma Varchasva Sattama. Means what? Fully equipped with whatever is required by them. Or Vyasa Uchishtam Jagat or Vyasa Uchishtam Jnanam, like that is told. This whole world is Vyasa Uchishtam in the sense of everything he knows. So, but still he was not satisfied. So here Prabhupada is saying that there are processes in Vedic literature which he has written, which are like purification happens by that, right? Matter purification of a living being submerged in matter is made possible by prescribed activities in Vedas like dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and even bhakti for that matter. Why that purification happens? But the ultimate goal is not purification. Ultimate goal is love of God. So the ultimate achievement is different. So that is what is told. So only by purification, your jnanis become pure. But they cannot situate themselves in that purity if they are not having proper perspective of the Supreme. So that's what Prabhupada is saying, that unless it is attained by living being, even though fully equipped, even though fully equipped, cannot be situated in normal stage. Transcendental normal stage is what? Love, prema, Krishna prema. They cannot be situated there. So then he, having introspected, now having reflected on his actions, introspected his feelings of dissatisfaction, now he detected the problem himself. किं वा भागवता धर्मं न प्रायेण निरूपिताः प्रिया हि परमहंसानां त एव ह्यच्युतः प्रियाः. Yes, please.
This may be because I did not.
Are you coming now further? I'm seeing chat now. How is
This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and the infallible Lord.
Yeah. So you see, he has practically understood his mistake, but he is not 100% sure. So this is the sincere devotee, that he tries to reflect and he may understand to some extent, but and then what happens? Now Narada Muni comes and he confirms, yes, this is what is the mistake. So now, because of such sincere, actions which he did, now what is happening, you see. So here he is saying very clearly, so maybe I have not prayena. Prayena means not so much what Prabhupada is saying. Almost na nirupitaha. I have not described, I have not established. निरूपण नहीं किया मैंने. किसका निरूपण नहीं किया? भागवत धर्म. So Bhagavad Dharma, which is Bhagavad Dharma? That which is very dear to the Paramahamsas. And those Paramahamsas are only dear to Achyuta. So if Paramahamsas are not happy, how Achyuta can be happy? So that's how, mostly this is what is the problem. Yeah, so this we'll discuss in detail. Yes. Unless one is fixed in the normal condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can become fully satisfied. So see, when we are practicing something else, then we are not satisfied, even Lord is not satisfied with us. So both parts, like, and now with that, what he is feeling? तस्यैवं खिलमात्मानं मन्यमानस्य खिद्यतः कृष्णसन्नारदोऽभ्यागात् आश्रमं प्रागुदावृतम्.
As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa on the banks of the Saraswati, just as Vyasdeva was regretting his ignorance.
Yeah. So having detected, he was regretting also. So Khidyata, he was regretting himself. And then suddenly Narada appeared. Yeah. So here, very amazing commentary is written by Vishwanath. The essence of it is that how is it that Vyasa is the author of Lord, he is Sarvagya, and how can he have dissatisfaction? So this was caused by Swayam Bhagavan. So that Bhagavatam can come, which is non-different than that Swayam Bhagavan. So this is how Vyasa became dissatisfied. Otherwise, one can ask, this dissatisfied fellow is writing something. Why to believe? No, it's very clear. Asarvagyata and Chitta Aprasada, these two are not qualities of Narayan. Vedvyas is what Bhagavan. He is not, this Vedvyas is not Shaktavish. It's Supreme Lord. How can he be dissatisfied? So Swayam Bhagavata Shri Krishnaiva Swasadrisha means that by that Swayam Bhagavan Krishna only to manifest Sarva Shastra Shiromani Shri Bhagavatasya Pradur Bhavartham, to manifest the Sarva Shastra Shiromani, the crest jewel of this literature of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is non-different than him. He created this dissatisfaction. And he is giving example like same way Brahma also became dissatisfied. Sorry, not Brahma, not dissatisfied, but his knowledge was covered. Not Brahma, Balram. In Brahman Leela, Balram, no, Balram is even beyond Ved Vyas. Balram in Vrindavan is the first thing which has come out of Krishna. Right? But he was also covered up by Swayam Bhagwan in this. But what was the purpose? Purpose was Leela. Purpose was Lord want to enact this pastime of entire Vimohan Leela. You know, except Swayam Bhagwan, not just Brahma, everyone was bewildered, including Balaram. So he is giving example of Swayam Bhagwan, how, what is the power of Swayam Bhagwan. So Balaramji was also bewildered. So here, basically it means it's happening your Maya, Balaramji also, and here also. Thus the unique meaning of the all scriptures becomes visible. Okay, so that's why bhakti is. The vacuum felt by Vyasdev was not due to lack of his knowledge. Yeah, so this Prabhupada is also writing, so you can read on your own. Directly Prabhupada is writing. Infused by Sri Krishna directly. Empowered divinity means he is directly the Supreme Lord. Now, what happened after that? Yeah, please read the translation quickly.
And the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Sri Vyasadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that given to Brahmaji, the creator.
Yeah, so it's a very important verse. Tam abhignaya sahasa pratyuthaya gatam muni pujayamasa vidhivat naradam surapujit. So vidhivat means what? So Narada has come and he immediately got up from his seat and offered respect to Narada like what? Vidhivat means what? Like as offered like Brahma. So that is one meaning of Vidhivat. Other meaning of Vidhivat is properly, proper according to Vidhi, according to the procedures of Vaishnava etiquette. The Vyasdev, whose Vyasa son, when we say Vyasa son, that Vyasdev got up from his asana to offer respect to Narada. But did he respect Narada as Narada? No. He respected Narada as good as Brahma. So the respect is offered not to the person, but what he represents. So this is a very important principle. So on this, there is a lecture of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. The title is, so I will request all of you to hear, because this Guru Tattva is not so easy to understand. There are some tattvas which are very difficult to understand. So this one. So on this very verse, he is giving such a brilliant lecture. Means, what all things we can share, but some of the accepting knowledge humbly. This is 1433. Amazing lecture. So Prabhupada also writes here. So I will just play some part of it. And then we will discuss. Please hear attentively.
It takes the most humble position before his spiritual master, however qualified. But the disciple of that spiritual master, although he may be taking a very humble position before his guru, he doesn't try to jump over, but he tries to take a humble position before that person. That is Mahaprabhu's philosophy. Gopi Bharatul Udakamalayur Das Das. Be the servant of the servant. He reasons ill, tells the Vaishnavas die. When thou art living still in sound, Vaishnavas die to live and live to spread the holy name. So none of the previous acharyas have died. They are all living in sound. And wherever those faithful representatives are vibrating that sound, all the previous acharyas are living within that person. They are bestowing Mahaprabhu's mercy through that person. And not only that, but they are collecting our offerings on behalf of the Supreme Personality. It is explained that Brahma is the father of all deities. And he is the embodiment of all transcendental knowledge. And Vedavyas is here, worshipping, respecting, and offering veneration to his guru on an equal level to that. And because Vedavyas was approaching Narada in this spirit, this is very important to understand. He wasn't approaching Narada because Narada was Narada. He was approaching Narada with such respect and submissiveness because Narada was the representative of Brahma and Krishna. And this is the difference between a personality cult and a proper religion based on truth. However wonderful a person may speak, however handsome a person may move his body, however empowered one may be with cities or charismatic, if we actually want to learn the truth, we do not respect and venerate that person because of what he is. We respect and venerate that person because of what that person represents. And we have seen how oftentimes disciples or followers, they lose that perception. And they think that this is my guru, and whatever he says doesn't matter. Doesn't matter any guru, it doesn't matter any sadhu or any shastra. To me, he is God. God is speaking through him. This way, we are in the wrong consciousness. We do not understand how to approach a spiritual master. Vedavyas' teachings. Because he is representing Brahma, therefore, I will hear from him, and I will offer him all respect and veneration. I will surrender to his lotus feet. Similarly, in this movement, we should respect and adore someone because they are representing Prabhupada in Bhakti Siddhanta Gaur Kishore, Bhakti Vinod, Jagannath Das Babaji, Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Sanatana, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ishvara Puri, Madhavendra Puri, Madhavacharya, Lakshmanath Tirtha, Madhavacharya, Vyas Narada, Krishna. Krishna is the disciple of Radha. Chaitanya Charitamrita states this. Krishna says that Radharani, her bhakti, her love is so much, so deep, so great that love is my guru. I am controlled by it. I am the servant of it. Whatever. I dance according to her. So Radha and Krishna, their loving affairs is the supreme guru. And we must know that this mercy, this grace, this knowledge must come down with proper disciple succession. And we must honor and venerate a person, those persons, not necessarily just one person, but those persons who are properly representing that. And of course, when we are preaching to others, we should know we are taking position as a representative of the disciple succession. So we should be very careful to only speak on behalf of the previous acharyas. However little we know, we should present it nicely. We may not be big scholars, but whatever little we have learned, you just present it nicely as it is. And you can bring those people in contact with the whole flow of transcendental person coming to power. That is the greatest service that we can render.
Anyway, so there are many things, but here what I mentioned, what I played just one part of it is that what is our perception of our spiritual masters and others who are representing is what being said here. So what we learn, the principle here, anyone wants to say? It was told here in the first part of the talk. And what we learn from Vyas here. Yes.
Vyasdev was actually not offering respect to Narada, but actually he was offering respect to Narada because he was representing Brahmaji and Brahmaji will also take position.
Yes, so similarly in our society, what he said.
So similarly in our society also, we should like personality correct Narada is in that we look
Yes.
for just person, what the person is, but we offer respect to the person what he represents actually.
Yes. So what is personality cult mentality and what is the true religion? No, religion based on truth. There is a difference, he said. So personality cult means what? He said.
The way he works, the way he
Okay, that charisma and all, but in essence, what is it? My guru is God. His word is word of God. Everything else is bogus. So we don't understand how to respect spiritual master. This is personality cult. Whatever others are speaking doesn't matter. My guru is God. So Sakshadhari principle is there. We have to see like that. But the depth of that is told in this verse. That we do that because he represents something. So someone else is also doing that deserves the same respect. And that doesn't mean, actually there are very nice question answers also. So that's the point. Actually, Guru Tattva, respecting Guru is not just that person, but what he represents. So that's why Vidhipat. So the initial part of lecture has so many important things, which are few mentioned here. You can see. Yeah, please read this. Vyasa.
Vyasa is revealing perfect consciousness to receive Guru, completely depending on Guru's mercy. Srila Prabhupada in Jaludutta.
Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Sisi.
We must feel unsuccessful materially as well as spiritually.
You are saying that we must feel like that. If you don't feel, then means materially or spiritually. So materially, things are going fine, that's okay. But spiritually, one has to feel that there is something which I am not full. Otherwise, what everything is going fine now. That's what he gives examples there. We must feel because this is the hunger to associate. If this is not there, then nothing can happen. And Vyasdev is saying, then he said that Vyasdev was narrating if you write all the Vedas without even editor or anything, then you can, if he is feeling dissatisfied, then who are you? Means, that is the case. Because the dependence will never come if this is there. Complacency. So that's what he says. Complacency will come otherwise. That my sadhana is going strong. Sambandhas are very sweet and sensitive, and services are satisfactory. So things are going fine. Complacency will come. So, but the person who wants to enter into higher realms of consciousness, he should feel the dissatisfaction in his spiritual life at least. To know the what is the highest consciousness. So Prabhupada is feeling complete dependence on his spiritual master, and he's not writing for us. He's actually feeling that. So he was mentioning that. So that is the real consciousness to be attained. If I am feeling something different, then great problem is there. I have to approach Guru. Otherwise, what is Guru required now? I am settled nice, I have so many responsibilities. Guru has many, I also have many. So both are preaching Prabhupada's movement. What I have, okay, fine. But no, I need your mercy, my dear Guru Maharaj. Because that's not, these external activities are good, but that's not the goal. Is this the highest consciousness or dependence on Guru. So proper transmission of knowledge happened only when there is genuine feeling of distress. So Ved Vyas, he gave example of Arjuna. Krishna started speaking when there was dissatisfaction and it was expressed. Ved Vyas, when it felt, then he came. Same is the case, what other example is there? Yeah, Parikshit Maharaj was cursed. Earlier, Sukadeva Goswami didn't go and meet. Also, he was devotee. So unless that feeling is there of distress or D-company, I have written, that Maharaj doesn't say. But discontentment, dissatisfaction, there is a doubt, there is something happened to you and you are disturbed. So genuinely you open your, then there will be this. Otherwise, external things, going on, it's that complacency is not going to give us anything. Any aspect of what is this higher realms of consciousness. This word Maharaj uses often. In the meaning of, there is one word, chant, meaning, what is it? The aspiration to chant Mahamantra. In that he says that unless we understand and practice these third words, we cannot touch the higher realms of consciousness. So that is what. Only when we hear Bhagavatam every day, we can know the ideal consciousness. But what Chitraketu is feeling when he is cursed, what I am feeling when I am spoken something. When we hear Bhagavatam every day, then only we'll understand. Otherwise, as I told, services are going satisfactory, sadhana is strong, and relationships are sweet. Wonderful, very good. Now I am helping so many. Bhaktivinoda Maharaj was telling in ILS that there is no steadiness. There are only two steadiness exist in this whole process. He said in the initial stage, when one is fully ignorant, he is steady. And then one attains prema. And in between all stages are either you have to go down or up. You cannot stay. So he says the biggest problem at the stage of Nishtha is that you feel satisfied with your current state of advancement. And then you look down and see how many people are taking guidance from you. Wonderful, very important. And then you forget to look up. And because of that, you don't respect them properly. And niyam agraha happens. So that's the point being mentioned. That wherever you are, the only way to go up is to look up. Not to look down. There will be more people in the future down. And we have to look there, and that naturally will look. But our inspiration, our strength, our surrender, our opening of heart should be there. Then we will go. Like that Bhaktivinoda Maharaj was telling. He was telling, Jiv Jago, like that. Please wake up from your current state of advancement. Like that he's telling in ILS too. the leaders, he can say like that because he's speaking. And he said that that's why there is a the administration of means not administration, there is a preaching of Panchopasana principles. The mixed devotion is preached because of this reason. There is no other reason. That's what he was telling. So that's the ideal consciousness only will be revealed by person Bhagavad and book Bhagavad. So we have to associate with them with all veneration and property. And there Maharaj is telling that, yeah, we should come to Bhagavatam class like you are coming on a table. No? What is that? Operation table. And now you are going to be operated. And that time Anand Vrindavan who enters. And he has done some surgery. That time he starts speaking. This. Let us welcome him and like that. So he's saying and attending Bhagavatam means he was saying that I want to deal with the disease without anesthesia. Means my operation will be done and I will feel great pain. I don't want anesthesia. That is Bhagavatam plan. Like that Maharaj is in the beginning part of the lecture. Accepting knowledge only. So this accepting is not intellectual. Accepting is done with a state of heart, which is mentioned here by Vedvyas, which is necessary. So there only he said, so this part I played. The beauty and glory of our Parampara system is this. No, there is a difference between personality cult and proper religion based on truth. So our Shraddha is Shastriya Shraddha. Our Shraddha is not Laukik Shraddha. Based on truth, not sentimental. And we respect accordingly. My Guru is the best Guru, and I love my Guru, and he is the greatest. Everything else is, that is neophyte consciousness. So we must offer veneration and respect whosoever represent Prabhupada and Parampara properly. And then there are nice question answers where he concludes that it doesn't mean that we go to each and everyone and ask what I should do. No, we have to be humbly submitting all our dedication and service and affection to our link to the Parampara. But everyone else we respect and venerate. So that's how, and there are very nice question answers. So why I am mentioning this? Because this Guru Tattva is very deep. Sometimes some things are spoken like, Guru in law. Someone was speaking recently. We are all Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Of course, we are Prabhupada, but Prabhupada was Rupanuga. Prabhupada never used this word Prabhupada. And we have to follow Prabhupada, there is no doubt. But that doesn't minimize the position of our spiritual master to be Guru in law. Guru is the law. Guru is not in law. That's what is told here. Guru is the law, but Guru has to be properly understood. So when that devotee spoke, there was great discussion later. Because it's not a simple thing to understand, It's easy to say that service in law, department in law, temple in law is okay. Guru in law, Guru is the law. That's what Prabhupada writes in all his books. He never wrote the principle, that you surrender to founder Acharya. He is saying secret of success is satisfaction of spiritual master. So that spiritual master means, is that mean Prabhupada? When Prabhupada is writing? What it means? It means spiritual master. Right? So that's why it's very important principle. That's why I spent such little time here. So we will go now to the next chapter. The chapter 5, which is the most important chapter in this section. So we have around 1.5 days with us. So we'll try to do justice of whatever is possible. So quick overview of this chapter. Yeah. पंचमे ज्ञान कर्माले वैर्थम उपादयन भक्तिम कीर्तय मुख्यांगाम नारदस्तम उपादिशत. Please read the meaning of this essence of. Yeah. You probably can read.
Viswanatha Thakur.
This translation you can, in the fifth chapter.
In the fifth chapter, while explaining the fertility, futility of karma and jnana, Narada instructed Vyas about bhakti, of which kirtan is made anga.
Yeah, so jnana karma adir vaiyartham. The futility of other processes like jnana karma. And to establish bhakti with kirtana to be the mukhya anga. Is told is instructed in the fifth chapter, right? So what are the breakup in this? Sorry, this I have not done fully, but you can see the, okay, this, okay, breakup we'll see later. So first 7 verses are nothing but Narada has come and Narada is asking rhetorical questions to Ved with smile because he knows everything, what is happening. Bhakti Shakti in Tam. So Narada, chapter 5, Narada's instruction on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. Sutta uvacha atham tam sukhamasīnam upāsīnam brahmacchava devarshi praviprarshi vīṇāpāṇi smayandiva.
Famous Narada with Veena in his hand, being seated comfortably while slightly smiling, then spoke to Vyasa, who was worshipping him.
Yeah. So he was smiling because he knew what is happening. That's why he was smiling. Just as Arjuna was seen distress, so Krishna also perhaps in his heart. So same thing. So a slight smile appeared on Narada's lips, which shows that he, knowing everything, was internally pleased with Vyasa. So Prabhupada gives the idea. So we'll discuss this later in detail. The why dissatisfaction. Yeah, please read the translation.
Addressing Vyasdev, the son of Parasara, Narada inquired, are you satisfied by identifying the body or the mind as objects of self-realization?
Yeah. So here Narada is rhetorically asking him. He knows what he has done. So what he is saying, Parasharya, Mahabhaga. Hey Parasharya, your lineage is so great. Parashar Muni is your father. And Mahabhaga, you are greatly fortunate and learned in Vedas. You don't deserve to be dissatisfied. Then he is asking rhetoric questions. Is your mind satisfied by identifying with your mind? Or is your body satisfied with identifying with body? That's how he is asking question. Means what? Whatever you have written was completely based on body and mind. That is how he is smiling. That is the meaning here. This Kachit Atman. These are like rhetoric questions. Are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as objects of self-realization? So, like that. So, this is the first question he is asking. Whatever you have written is all addressing needs of body and mind only. What about need of self? You have not written that. So, Prabhupada also wrote. There was a hint by Narada to Vyasadeva regarding the cause of this one. One cannot be cheerful by nature unless one is factually seated in self-realization, which is the transcendental to material body and mind. So this is about Narada's state of consciousness. He was smiling because of his factually seated in self-realization. So that's all. Now, in the next 2-3 verses, he is recognizing what Vedavyasa has done. At the same time, he is kind of questioning him. In spite of this, you are not satisfied. But he is recognizing the work what he has done in 2 verses. Jitnyasitam sampannam apite mahadadbudam kritavan bharatam yastvam sarvartha paribhramihitam.
Your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled, and there is no doubt that you have prepared a great and wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences elaborately explained.
Yeah. So, my dear Vedvyas, there is no lack of Shastric knowledge in you. That is the meaning of this verse. You have perfectly inquired and written Mahabharata, which is Adbhut. Sarvartha Paridrumbhita. So there is no lack of knowledge or Shastric man in you. So that's what. You cannot say that your source of dissatisfaction is lack of scriptural knowledge. Because you have written. The same thing Prabhupada also says. Not only theoretical knowledge or Shastric Jnana, you have realized knowledge also. That is the next verse. Jitnyasitam adhitam cha brahmayantat sanatanam tathapi sochasya atma akritartha iva prabho.
You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as the knowledge derived therefrom. Why should you be this despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are not done, my dear Prabhu?
So you have written Vedanta Sutra. So Vedanta Sutra is not theoretical knowledge, it's realized knowledge, Brahman realized knowledge. And all conclusions of all Vedic literature is there. So you are not having a lack of realized knowledge as well. Still, my dear Prabhu, how come you are dissatisfied? Like that is that. That's what is told here. So there cannot be any doubt about the transcendental scholarship of Ved Vyas. So this is transcendental scholarship means realize now. So why should you he lament? So now such questions are asked. Understanding the questions only, Ved Vyas also surrenders. So very beautiful 3 verses, which is showing the how to approach a spiritual master as he is representing parampara. So that's what he is saying. Vyasa uvacha asteva me sarvamidam tvayoktam tathapi natma paritushyate me tanmoolam apyaktam avadabodham prachamahe tvam bhavat bhutam.
All you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not satisfied. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. But you are a man of unlimited knowledge due to your being the offspring of one Brahma, who is self-born without mundane mothering.
Yeah. So here, what is told is, whatever Narada you are saying is perfectly right. I am not satisfied. But you have glorified me so much. Parashvarya, Mahabhaga, Sarvata, Upabrahmita. But you are far superior than me. I am Parashvarya, but you are Bhavatma Bhuta. You are Brahmaji's son, which is more glorious. And you are Agada Bodha. Your knowledge is unfathomable. Mine is nothing. So, please tell me what is the reason. Asteva me sarvavidam proyaktam. Whatever you said is perfect. Yeah, that's what I agree. I accept whatever you are saying. With that, I am na tathapi natma paritushyate. Tan moolam objectam, but it is not, I don't know what is the root of that problem. But you know because you are Agada Bodham. You are man of unlimited knowledge. So I am asking you, my dear Narada, and you are not just Agada Bodham because you are Brahmaji's son. Brahma is empowered by the Supreme Lord himself. So I ask you. So this is the first expression of this acceptance and accepting the capability of this guru, that you can tell me. So that's how now 3 verses are 5, 6, 7 and 8. So yeah, Prabhupada, please read this as such.
All knowledge disseminated in the mental world is related either with the body or with the mind Aditya, and that is the root cause of all despondency. This is not always detected. Even though one may be the greatest erudite scholar in materialistic knowledge, it is good therefore to approach a personality like Narada to solve the root cause of all despondencies.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes, thank you. So here what is mentioned here is that all knowledge which has relation with, which is there in the material world now is completely about body and that will lead to distress and despondency. But problem is that is not detected. That is experienced but not detected. Objecta. So what is to be done? Approach. So at least when experience comes of dissatisfaction, one has to approach, one has to express his heart. That's what we sang the song for, that purpose. Samsara anala hote mangide vishram. Kandiya janaiva dukhagram. Right? So that's why, so whatever this material knowledge of current day is avidya. There is superior than avidya is what? Vidya. And there is aparavidya and there is paravidya. So aparavidya is also good. Aparavidya is nothing but the Vedic knowledge, which has some connection with paravidya, right? Or para it is, but there is some connection with paravidya because goal is paravidya. And there is vidya, which is of knowledge of spirituality, but paravidya is pure devotion, prema, love of God, knowledge for that. That is paravidya. But avidya is what is being currently administered in the society at large. And that is the root cause of all problems. So that's why it's very important to approach and express. Like I think Gaurav mentioned that he met some person who was having a lot of money. But he was telling, right, that my money is like water in the ocean. But you are having sweet water. Please give me some drops of that sweet water. So the dissatisfaction is detected at least by that person, and he expressed also. And then, but then Prabhuji said that okay, give few drops here, then we. But then he didn't come. He didn't come again because he was not knowing the glory of the person whom he came. Although he expressed honestly, very very rich person. So many sannyasis reveal this, and many of you also, many of the Brahmachari. So many big people come and open their heart. बेटा हमारे पास सब कुछ है, लेकिन ये नहीं है. अच्छा ये sweet water is not there. Our everything is like salt water ocean. Whole world sees, but we are not satisfied. We are not content. So that's why it's very important to approach. So for them it is there only, but even for us as sadhaka, we need to express ourselves. It's very important. Without expressing, without introspecting, it's very difficult to make progress. Now, why he is Agada Bodham is told in 2 verses. That's what Siddhartha Swami says. Savai Bhavan Veda Samasta Guhyam Upasito Yat Purusham Purana Paravareshu Vashishvam Sujattavatyat Trigunaira Samgraha.
Everything that is mysterious is not real because you worship the creator and destroyer of the material world and maintainer of the spiritual world, the original personality of Godhead, who is translated to the 3 modes of material nature.
Yeah. So, my dear Narada, you know everything. Veda Samasta Guhyam, you know the most confidential things. Completely. Why you know that? Because you are devotee of Lord. Upasito Yat Purusham Purana. You are Purana Purusha Upasita. You are pure devotee, you are incarnation of Bhakti Shakti. So you know everything. And then all other things, Paravareshu is Para Avara Ish, the master of material and spiritual worlds. And these are all Lord's descriptions. Who creates by his simple Manasaiva Vishwam. He creates, maintains, and destroys the universe simply by his will, and but not get affected. So you are worshipping such Supreme Lord, that's why you know everything. So that's how he is saying here. So Prabhupada here says that person who is saint, person engaged in service of Lord is the emblem of all. So basically, all knowledge of everything should lead to service and service attitude. Otherwise, there is no point of knowledge. So the saint person engagement in service of Lord, Prabhupada is saying. So Narada Muni is like that. So he is the emblem of all knowledge. That's what Prabhupada is making. It's 100% engagement. So whatever state of heart our is, the 100% engagement is important. Whatever it is. So that's what is essential for our practice. That's what Prabhupada says in one of the Bhagavad Gita purports, that a person who is 100% engaged in bhakti, he should be respected as sadhu, even if he is ignorant or uncultured. What? Even if he is ignorant and even if he is uncultured, but he is engaged 100% in service of Krishna, has to be respected as sadhu. So 100% engagement is important. But that's the goal of cultivating knowledge also, right? So that's what is the case. And that leads to that. Such devotees of Lord in full perfection of devotional service is also perfect by the qualification of personality of God. So why? Because of Dadami Buddhiyo, Satata Yuktana, Rajata Priti Purvakam, Dadami Buddhiyo. So this is because of Lord, that qualification is given by the Supreme. So for them, Ashtasiddhi and all is nothing. So Prabhupada had, pure devotees have all Ashtasiddhis, but that doesn't matter for them. Right? So Ashtasiddhi, very little of his godly out. So Prabhupada is writing this when, you see, this is the first canto. He is writing here only, 1965. So he is saying Ashtasiddhi is little godly. So, and we heard other day Prabhupada got so many darshans. Rup Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami. Prabhupada got all the darshan. He is writing all these things. So same thing is continuing ahead. Why he is Agada Bodham? Because he is devotee of Supreme Lord. Why is Agada Bodham? Because he knows in and out. That is this verse. Pampariatan iva triloki mantra sharovayu sakshi paravare brahmani dharmato vrate snatasya me nyunamalam vichakshvam.
Like the sun, your goodness, goodness can travel everywhere in the three worlds. And like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of everyone. As such, you are as good as the all pervasive super soul. Please therefore find out the deficiency in me. Despite my being absorbed in class and under the disciplinary regulation and laws.
Yeah. So basically two analogies are given to tell the glory of Narada. Saying that, my dear Narada, you are like sun, which can see everything in this creation externally. And you are like life air within my body to understand all my intelligence and how it is working. You are witness for that. Atma Sakshi means you are able to see my internal souls. So that's why, please, Vichakshva, please find out what is my problem. Alam, I know whatever I have, dharma to vrate, everything I have done, I know that. That is enough also, I know, but still I am not satisfied. So please, you find out. So this mood itself is the solution. That there is acceptance and there is introspection, there is reflection that what can be the problem. And most important is expressing it that please tell me what is the problem. So that more than half problem is solved here on. If this mood is there to approach. So please find out deficiency in. So Prabhupada interestingly writes this, all things are helpful. Why helpful? Because it is coming to the point of Sharanagati. That's why it is helpful. All the activities which he did. So now the section starts. So we will have break, maybe 1 to 2 questions are there we can have, and then we'll have a yes.
This glorification symbolical or what this was?
This word, like which I didn't understand.
Sacrifice over and on. Divide another.
Compared to properties which only Lord can have.
Okay, so Narada is compared to Atma Sakshi, like that. Atma Sakshi, you know, some all things within like life there. And externally also. So, is it symbolic? So, at least I have not read that it is symbolic because the spiritual master or Narad Muni here is completely in connection with Krishna. So he has the capacity, almost capacity of super soul. So he has that capacity, and uh, I think your spiritual master also has said the same thing once. And how you know, something like that question was asked. Someone remembers that? Then Anush told, what I am doing, how you will come to know. So what was the answer?
I got this question, do you believe about like this?
Yeah, something of that sort was answered by them. And what I remember Srila Prabhupada is saying is that the spiritual master is revealed whatever is required to help the disciple. So, because he is representing Balaram, he is empowered by Balaram, so he has that capacity, but he will not be able to be like Supreme Lord, which is knowing what is going on in everyone's. But he will know what is needed for his service. So here there is relationship of Guru and disciple. So there it is looking like the Supreme Lord. But it's not that. He is talking about himself. You know what is going within him. That. So that is then like not like symbolic, but there is a difference between Lord and Narada at the same time. Anything else? Whatever we have discussed till now.
Before even Narada comes,
Hmm.
it is mentioned that
Which sloka?
number just any 20
Previous chapter. What is that?
There he Brahmaji society where they did that. Because I have not glorified Krishna.
Yeah.
He before he understands.
Yes.
Before even Narada comes.
Yes.
So he's understood in one sense.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That it is his conjecturing. It may be true, may not be true. But he has done his part and he has not come to conclusion. That's how Narada has come. No? He is introspecting, and many times if we do some mistake, we may understand, but we are not sure where is the problem. So one example I can give here. There is one lecture by his name is Radhanath Swami Maharaj named Meaning of False Pride. There, what he says is that we cannot understand what is our problem in root. Because it is in the root. But we can see the symptoms of problem. Like he gives example of tumor. So tumor is there in the body, where it is we don't know. But because of tumor, there are some symptoms which are visible. So he says that that tumor is that false ego. We don't know how it acts in the sense of the true problem. But that false ego will manifest externally in terms of thought, words, and action, which we can surely introspect. So based on that, we can understand something. Maybe this is the problem, but we cannot know. So what we have to do, he said, we have to go to the doctor. He will tell, okay, tumor is in here or here. So that will be confirmed. Why he says? Because there is a hierarchy, right? There is senses, there is mind, there is intelligence, and there is ego. So what we can perceive and analyze and what we discriminate is by intelligence. But beyond intelligence is what? Ego. So we cannot detect what is our problem. That's why sometimes you have done everything wonderful, still spiritual master will chastise you like anything. Because he is seeing that tumor inside. So we can retrospect the actions and introspect the problem, and we may come to right conclusion, but that will be understood later after when it will be told, yeah, this is the problem. Otherwise, it's not sure. That's the issue, na, that when there is dissatisfaction, one should take shelter of a Vaishnava. Not that one does Nirjan Bhajan, I will chant 64 rounds and, purify my heart and all. Yeah, that can be done. But you take shelter of Vaishnava, express what is happening inside. Hmm? So, because that false ego thing can be detected by only spiritual and no one else. And he says, if spiritual master thinks that he can detect, then he cannot also detect. Because only Krishna can empower him also to see. If he thinks that I can detect, then his ability to see is also gone. So that way, Vedvyas has understood his problem because we know that same is misdiagnosed. But Vedvyas is not confident that this is the problem. What is it? Conjuncture? Yeah, maybe I spoke inappropriately with some Vaishnava yesterday. Or, like that, if something happens to us, then we may conjecture something. But the real conclusion will be given by the authority. Not authority in the sense spiritual master, but the person who is having system. So he could understand. Because of his purity and sincerity, he could understand. He could exactly understand. Isn't it? Prayana, not Prayana. So that is the reflection that he could detect it. So Prabhupada also says that this defect was felt by him when Narada Muni spiritual master reached him. It is described as follows. So mystic language here is that when Prabhupada saying that when Narada Muni reached him, that time he felt the defect. Like that. So because Krishna is there in the heart, Krishna arranges the proper dealing with that problem. So a lot of things have to be done by the practitioner. That's what the lecture was saying, that detecting dissatisfaction and processing it properly. That is something. Okay, so we'll take break now and we will come back by 12:40 here. Maybe 42 or whatever. Thank you. Very much. Okay. Any
Necessarily.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna. 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 Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
हाँ, yes, yes. ठीक है,
Okay.
yes, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So let us begin the section. So just breakup of the chapter I wanted to tell. So In English, I have not made. So now from 8 to 22 is one important section hmm, of this. hmm. So 1 to 7 was what? So this is like English. So English, Hindi written in English. नारद प्रश्न करते हुए व्यास ने किए हुए कार्यों की मान्यता देते हैं हम्म, और 1 से 4 में और व्यास नम्रता से प्रामाणिकता से शरणागत होते हैं वो हो गया 5 से 7 में 8 to 22 is what the instructions of Narada on Bhagavat, what he has to write in Bhagavat, what should be the substance of Bhagavatam, how the bhakti is the highest and most important Siddhant. That is what is the in the whole chapter. This 8 to 22 is most important. So we'll spend some time on this. Then 23 to 31 is after speaking the Siddhanta, he is giving Drishtanta. Drishtanta means what? Example. His own personal example he is giving of experience of that Siddhanta which he spoke. By telling about his own life and how he reached from Narada boy to Narada Muni. That is 23 to 31. So which actually nourishes the understanding of Siddhanta very clearly. That's why example is given, right? Drishtanta means what? The example of the Siddhanta. That is 23 to 31. And 32 to 40 is the final instructions. So that includes Karma Yoga, which is 32 to 36. Then Pancharatrik Vidhi, deity worship, 37 to 39. And then the glory of Kirtan. Kirtan is the highest. Bhagavad Yash ka Kirtan karne ka adesh. That is 40th verse. So that's how this chapter is there, the breakup. So 8 to 22, whatever is spoken is the seed Siddhanta of entire Srimad Bhagavatam, all the pastimes. This is what, based on which Vyas wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. So very heavily loaded verses, big verses, heavily commented by Prabhupada as well as all the acharyas. Very, very huge commentary. So whatever time we have, we'll discuss that. It's very important. So that's why, so let us enter into this section of 8 to 22. So within 8 to 22, there is breakup also. So this is the another thing which I am showing, that's all. Otherwise, I am not showing any slide further. So 8 and 9 is Narada Muni is diagnosing. In Prabhupada's language, perfect diagnosis is due. So as a doctor, so 8 and 9th verse, right? So that is perfect diagnosis of Narada, that what is the problem, right? And what he should be doing, that also he is telling. So solution also, Chikitsa and the medicine, the diagnosis and the medicine. And that further is like 10, 11 is about सिर्फ भक्तिमय साहित्य ही सबके लिए क्रांतिकारी और मंगलकारी है, अन्यथा वायस तीर्थ. Only literature which will explain bhakti is only auspicious and revolutionary for everyone. Everything else other than that, all literature is pro-literature. That is 10 and 11. And 12 to 16 is how bhakti is the ultimate upalabdhi, attainment. And everything else is useless. Sakam, Nishkam, Karma, Jnana, Vijnana, everything is useless without bhakti. That is 12 to 16. Naishkarmam api achyut bhavavarjitam onwards. Whatever starts, that is 12 to 16. Where the Narada is chastising Vedvyas. 17 to 19 is what? Whatever progress is done in bhakti is eternal. It will never be destroyed. That is 17 to 19.
whatever progress you make in bhakti is will remain with you. It is eternal. There is no loss in that. Bhakti impressions are never lost. That is 17 to 19. And then 20 to 22 is final instructions that what he should be doing. Now that you go in meditation and witness the pastime and describe the pastimes, we will also hear from you, like that Narad Muni is telling. So this is the breakup of that important section, Bhakti ki Mahima ka Siddhanta. The Siddhanta of the glory or greatness of Bhakti. Okay. So now let us see this. So here what? Okay, so whatever is there projected, whatever I see is projected here. No, now. Okay. So fine. So text 8, Narada Muni. Shri Narada Vacha Bhavatánudita Prayam Yasho Bhagavato Malam Yenaivaso Natusheta Manne Taddarshanam Khilam. Yeah, please read the translation.
You have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless.
Yeah. So, as we saw that 8 and 9 is diagnosis, right? So, what Narada is saying here, Bhavataha Anudita Prayam. Anudita Prayam means almost. Bhavata, by you, your holiness, Bhavata is very respectful address. Your holiness, Anudita. You have not described Anukta. You have not described, almost not described. What you have not described almost? Bhagavato Amalam Yashaha. Lord's spotless glories. You have almost not described. So how perfect is this diagnosis is, you see? Means what? It is not saying that you have not described. You have almost not described, he said. And what is saying? Amala Yasha. Amala Yasha means spotless glories. You might have glorified the Lord in many, many ways, in many, many Puranas. Padma Puran, Brahma Vaivat Puran. Practically so many Puranas there are glories of Lord. Rather, glories of Lord are spoken everywhere. Ramane, what is Madhvacharya quotes that verse? What is that? Vede Ramayane Chaiva Bharate, what is it? Purane Bharate Va. Adye Madhye Cha Ante Cha Hari Sarvatra Giyate. So actually Hari is Giyate. Everywhere told. Madhvacharya is quoting this verse. But how to understand? Is it opposite? Is it opposite of this verse? What do you think? It is glorified but not to the extent it should be. Extent means the quantity you are saying. Adhe, madhye cha, ante cha, where in between you are missing here. Like that? Amalam. Amalam means pure glories. Means what? There are some impure glories also. Or only glories. Pure glories. So pure devotional service is not given anywhere. Is it? Like that. So let us see what is this Amal Yash, which has come earlier also. Where it came earlier? Earlier, yesterday or day before yesterday, there was one sloka that one should sing the pastimes. What is that? That Palashruti, 29th verse of previous chapter. After the emperor verse, the next verse. So Prayateta, the Kovida, Prayateta Sayam Prata Grannan. So Prayateta is purely or carefully. So purely glorified. So what is the pure glory? We'll see that. So he's saying you have not done that. But Vedvyas may say that yes, I have done. I have mentioned I have produced the Brahma Mimamsa scripture. Brahma Mimamsa means what? Vedanta Darshan. There I have glorified. So then for that reply, he is saying, Yenai vaso na tushyeta manne tad darshanam khilam. Means what? That darshan, so that darshan means Vedanta darshan also you have written. That darshan will not satisfy the Supreme Lord. Asau means the Supreme Lord. That darshan I consider inferior. Why? Because the author itself is dissatisfied. So those people who are going to read in future, they will study that, and if author is dissatisfied, then what will be experience of the audience? So that's why I say that that is also inferior. So that is what is being said here. So even if there might be some amalya, there might be some yash of the Lord mentioned, but what is amal yash? Let us see that first. So amal yash is defined by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Prabhupada also in his purport, but in very different words. So you see here, the spotless glories of Lord are what? Three aspects. Sarva Swarupebhyo Bhagavat Swarupasya Utkarshaha. We heard so many avatars, right? Sarva Swarupebhyo. But the Lord's form, the supremacy of the Swayam Bhagavan Krishna's form is the first thing, which is the part of Amalyash. Correct? The superior position of Bhagavan's forms are above all other forms. Second is what? Sarvotkrishta Jyotini Tasya Leela. The most attractive pastimes of that Swayam Bhagavan. So his form and his activities. And the process of bhakti, as Prabhu said, pure bhakti. So these three are Amalyash. When these three are there, then it is called Amalyash. So yash is one thing, but Amalyash is another thing. Only then you will be satisfied. So that's the, you have not described much at all. Anudita Prayam. So see, Prabhupada also writes that. So this already I told, Prabhupada also writes that. The Lord has expanded himself as living beings in order to accept loving service from them. And this alone can satisfy both the Lord and the living being. So, yenau vasau na tushyeta. Asau means the Supreme Lord. So, Supreme Lord is satisfied when? When the living entity is engaged in his loving service. So, it cannot satisfy. And then, this, see, here Prabhupada is saying that such scholar as Vyasdev has completed many expansions of Vedic literature, ending with Vedanta philosophy. But none of them have been written directly glorifying the yash of personality of God. So this is what Amal Yash, direct glorification of Supreme Lord Krishna. That is not there. Dry philosophical speculations, even on the transcendental subject of absolute, have very little attraction without directly dealing with glorification of Lord. So this is what is speaking about the attractiveness of the pastimes of the Krishna. So that's what Prabhupada is writing. All other speculations have little attraction because there is no direct glorification. And more further he is saying, they are, even if he has described Brahman and Paramatma, impersonal Brahman and localized super soul. But that is less productive of transcendental bliss than the supreme personal realization of his glories. And this is already I told that the hearers, the studiers, how they will be satisfied if you are only dissatisfied. So my dear Vedvyas, my diagnosis, Praman for my diagnosis is you only. You are only Praman for what you have written. That you are the writer itself is not satisfied. How the living entities will be satisfied and then how Lord will be satisfied. So herein arises the necessity of explaining the Vedanta Sutra in form of Srimad Bhagavatam by the self-same author. So That's what. See, Prabhupada has mentioned all the points what Vishwanath is mentioning, but in different language. Right? So now, having said that, he may say that, but I have described the wonderful qualities and pastimes of Krishna in Padma Puran. Right? Padma Puran you have heard, right? Recently, I think Mukundanand Babu was giving class and he told such beautiful details of some pastime. Remember, anyone remembers that? Such beautiful details of Sudama pastime he was telling. Never heard before. Amazing sweet. And after the class, for next 20 minutes, he was narrating more from Padma Puran. So there are many pastimes of Krishna in Sudama there. And many, just one example I gave, but there are many other things. So he's saying, my dear Narada, how can you say that? I wrote in Padma Puran, I wrote glories. But for that, he gives reply. What is his reply? Yatha dharma dayashartha munivarnyanukirtitaha na tatha vasudevasya mahima hi anuvarnitaha.
Although great sage, you have very broadly described the four principles beginning with religious performances. You have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality Vasudeva.
Yeah. So, see, yatha tatha means as much as. So, try to understand. Here, one thing is the extent of the glories, which Amit Prabhu was mentioning. That is surely there. That's what is mentioned in this verse. Yatha dharma adayaha. So, dharma adayaha means what? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma adayaha. Cha. Cha means what? So, dharma, artha, kama, moksha are called what? Purusharthas. Right? Purushartha means what? Something which is aimed at. And there is some process to attain that. So the sadhanas for that also, that is cha. Cha means the sadhanas to attain those purusharthas. So these both things, Munivarya Anukirtitaha. Hey Munivar, you have repetitively glorified dharma, artha, kama, moksha and the sadhanas for that. And they are glorified as what? The Purusha, the high Artha. See, there are two. In that Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, there is Artha. And then what is Cha Artha? So this is what? As goals. You might written the Padma Puran, you have written Dhruva Maharaj pastime. But what is the goal of that pastime? You have written there that, see, if you want anything, you can attain anything. This is the conclusion. So, or if you have mentioned some other pastime, they are mentioned as moksha sadhana. So the goal is moksha. You have described the pastimes. But what you are telling at the end that, okay, if you do this, you will attain moksha. Or if Dhruva Maharaj, see Dhruva Maharaj attained whatever he wanted. So you can approach Supreme Lord. So that is the problem. So this is one thing which we has done. You have repetitively glorified that inferior goal of human endeavor of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And that much you have not glorified Vasudevasya Mahima. Na tatha Vasudevasya Mahima. He anuvarnitaha. So anuvarnitaha means constantly described. See, glorified means, glorification means what? You exaggerate and speak in public. That is glorification. Appreciation is one thing, glorification is like on mic or like that in public. So you have done like that glorification of this. Dharma, kama, moksha, which is extremely inferior. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, they are ati nikrishtas. Dharma, kama, moksha. So he gives another meaning of cha, that he says, even, although dharma, artha, kama, moksha are ati nikrishta, very inferior, still you are repetitively glorified them as goals. But you have not repetitively glorified the Supreme Lord. That is your problem. Because Krishna's Mahima is the real Purushartha. The crest jewel of Purushartha is love for Krishna. Krishna Prem. Prema Pumartho Maha. That you have not glorified. So that is what is the problems here. One is the extent of it. And second is, even if it is described as moksha sadhana. So what is used? It's described as means, not the goal. Whereas Bhagavatam is explaining so beautifully the Param Purushartha, right? That's how he wrote later. So we see the same Dhruva Maharaj pastime which you have told in Padma Puran. There it tells about, see, if you want anything, you can approach. But what Bhagavatam tells? Bhagavatam tells very beautifully. There is this verse. Satyashisho hi Bhagavan Tavapada Padma. Like that there is one verse. You see that verse. Satyashisho hi Bhagavan Tavapada Padma. Ashish tathanubhajatah Purushartha Murte. Appeva Maria Bhagavan Paripati Dinan. Vashreva Vatsakamanograh Katarosman. So here, okay, translation, one can read.
My Lord, O Supreme Lord, you are the supreme personified form of all benediction. Therefore, for one who abides in your devotional service with no other desire, worshipping your lotus feet is better than becoming king and lording it over a kingdom. That is the benediction of worshipping your lotus feet. To ignorant devotees like me, you are the causeless, merciful maintainer, just like a cow who takes care of the newly born calf by supplying milk and giving it protection from attack.
Yeah, so this is a beautiful verse, the conclusion of prayers of Srila Dhruva Maharaj, which are considered 12 Adityas. This is the last prayer. So this is 4917, Prabhu. You can put it there, 4917, which is exactly opposite. You can see Purushartha Murte. You are the personification of all Purusharthas. And you can give that Ashish to anyone. But I don't want that. Like that. Satya Shisho hi Bhagavan Stavapada Padmam Ashish Tathanu Vajata Purushartha Murti. But my dear Lord, you are Purushartha Murti. You are able to give anything and everything. But you are pleased when people approach you, your lotus feet, without any desire. So I am such a fallen Dina that I approach you with desire. But you are like cow. The calf approaches the cow for milk, for some his personal purpose. But the cow takes care of the calf very nicely from wolves and all other animals. So he is saying, Dhruva Maharaj, my dear Lord, I am not that pure to approach you. But you are so kind, you have given me little taste of your lotus feet, by which I can think of practicing pure devotional service. I had all material desires, but you are like cow. So just as cow protects the calf, she gives milk. That milk you have given me now, the taste for your lotus feet. But just as cow protects from wolves and other animals, please protect me from material desires. That is this prayer in Srimad Bhagavatam. You say, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that very beautifully. So, because Lord thinks, because he is a young boy, even though he does not know pure bhakti to me, I will give him a taste of pure bhakti's result, my sweetness. So, little bit advertise I will give. So, Lord is like a cow who makes ignorant calf drink milk, even though calf does not serve the cow, and he who protects the calf from wild animals. Similarly, Lord should let me have taste of the sweetness of bhakti at his lotus feet and protect me from the obstacles of bhakti in form of material desires. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam, you see, initially how is going, oh young boy, it is true, you know my Swarupa. See, he has told so beautifully. Earlier all 11 prayers are so nice. Though you are now without material desires, I will give you the result that you previously were determined to achieve. Please take it. So then he describes his ignorance. So that is the Bhagavatam, which is explaining about the Supreme Lord, how he is pleased. But the same pastime is told in different way in Padma Puran in terms of the conclusion of it. Yes, bro.
Sometimes in Bhagavatam also, like at the end of if you read this pastime, you get some results. Like that also. So what difference it makes from other?
Yeah, but if you carefully observe, Prithu Maharaj section you take. So there are all kinds of benediction. For pure devotee also is there. Then there are Pakshatriyas will become king and like for everyone. So you approaching Bhagavatam is possible, na? One can get attracted to that. For that purpose it is given. So in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami clarifies that. Even Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also it is quoted, na? These verses which you are talking, they are quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But why they are quoted? To attract people to Bhakti. Once they come, then they will understand what is pure Bhakti. But that is not the goal of it. Because elsewhere they are heavily criticized also. Right? But that is not the case in the other Puranas. That's why there is the difference in Bhagavatam. So that's how this verse is telling that even if you have described, it is with moksha sadhanatva. You have told some other goals, some other things. So same is the case with Mahabharata also. So Mahabharata, there are so many other things glorified. You know, the truthfulness, some dana shurta of Karna, so many things are glorified. So there is a lot of confusion. All other sadhanas of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and dharma, artha, kama, moksha itself, that is also glorified. That, do dharma to get artha so that you can fulfill kama. That's what is told in one of the verses of Bhagavad, this Mahabharata. Clear direct verse is there. Whereas Bhagavatam, what is telling? Dharma, no, that is the complete highest. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha clearly tells. What is that? That dharma should be done for, not for artha. But that dharma sanusthita, not that one. There is apavarga. What is that? Dharmasya hi apavargasya narto arthaya upakalpate. We discussed, right? Earlier, last you must have discussed. So that is Bhagavatam. It is telling exact purpose of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Right? So dharma is to be done for moksha. But dharma will produce artha inevitably. So, but that artha should not be used for kama, but that artha can be used for maintaining the body. Then why should exist? For tattva, what is it? Tattva jitnyasa. So that is Bhagavatam, which is purely giving clear understanding of principles of this. So, but other Puranas, other literature have problems. So that's why, although this dharma, artha, kama, moksha are ati nikrushta, highly inferior goals, and their sadhanas are ati nikrushta, you have repetitively glorified them, whereas to that extent you have not glorified the Supreme Lord's glories. So that's why this is his diagnosis. So Prabhupada also mentions all these things, the prompt diagnosis Prabhupada gives, right? So this already, here one important point is, see here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that actually satisfaction is when we respect things as it behooves. Deho natha yatha yatha. And that strength is coming from spiritual master, right? So my dear Vedvyas, what is done? See, though, please read this part. Though you have described
the glories of Krishna abundant many places, they have been described only as a means of getting moksha. How can your mind be satisfied when there is a lack of regard for that which should have been given the most regard?
Yeah. So that which deserves the highest respect, you are not respecting it as it behooves. How can you be satisfied? Right? So that's the reason. But then he says, hey, You are saying, I have described bhakti. No? This verse we know, Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Tama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labate paran. After attaining Brahma bhuta stage, one begins bhakti. I have written Mathura's glories also. That person who desire liberation in Mathura get bhakti. I have written glories of Mathura. Bhakti I have written. So there he says the next line. That is the extent of the glories. But you have not done so repetitively. So it is not that he has not written glories of bhakti, but it is written little bit here and there. So your problem is, but you have not done it so repetitively. Na anuvarnitaha. You must do so because it is said. So this is anandamayo abhyasat. I abhyas means repetitive instruction. One will attain the ananda. So this is most unique meaning of this Vedanta Sutra given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. No one has given. The context doesn't speak about it, where it comes in Vedanta Sutra, but this is Vishwanath Chakravarti. Your mind will be satisfied only when you describe very clearly with repetition the glories of the Lord. Since those glories alone are finally the most excellent. So two things are important. Clearly glorification and repetitively glorification. Repetitively doing clear glorification. This you have not done. You have done many things. You keep them. I am not saying you throw all of them. They are nice. But why don't you write one scripture which gives the highest fruit? Vedic literature is what? What we call Nigama Kalpataru. Right? So Vedic literature is called Nigama Kalpataru. So it has all kinds of fruits. So now if someone comes to it and says that give me the highest fruit, can you give that? No. It should be giving, but you have not written. If someone comes with that desire, you should have that fruit. So write that one literature where you are repetitively glorifying and very clearly glorifying. That is Amal Yash. You don't worry here about the audience so much, which you have concerned. You have done it already. So the details will come ahead. So this is his diagnosis. So very clearly and with repetition. So that's how. So Prabhupada says here, the prompt diagnosis of Sri Narada is at once declared. So here, this already we discussed, right? Prabhupada also has written. And Prabhupada writes more strongly that you have improperly used his valuable time. That's why he is despondent. Right? So utility of time and engagement. That's why despondency is coming because of that. And yeah, please read. Okay, this is anyway, many of us know, many of us have heard this many times. That Brahma Bhuta stage is like 0-0. But bhakti is beyond that. That's what Prabhupada is telling here. One should progress by attaining neutrality and equality in the real world. And passing this stage of equanimity, one is fixed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So that's how Narada recommended to Vedvyas that he, Vedvyas, should now eagerly and repeatedly describe the path of devotional service. This would clear him from his gross despondency. Right? So that is what is told here, his prompt diagnosis. So when you go to doctor, see how Narada has clearly done. So imagine if you go and directly he, without even seeing you, maybe he's expert, let us see, and he just sees you and, okay, take this. Will you able to accept the diagnosis? Will you able to? Anyone? You just go and just sit and he immediately write and gives. Okay, take this, your problem will be solved. Will it make sense for us? Difficult, right? That much faith should be there on the person. But Narada didn't do that. Narada, when he asked questions, he glorified him also. He said, whatever you have done, you are not lack of Shastric knowledge, you don't have lack of realized knowledge, because you have compiled Mahabharata, which is for understanding of all Vedas for very low people, and for highest people you have written Vedanta Sutra that shows your realization. So it is fully understanding the other person and what he has done. And then he is telling diagnosis, right? And that is quite heavy, how he is telling, right? So that's how the Narada is giving. Now the rest of the verses are only telling the same theme only in one sense, that what is the glory of repetitive pure glorification. So now the next two verses are going to say that, right? So, yes, Prabhu. Hmm. Yes.
Bhagavad Gita, Vyasadeva has completely glorified Krishna and Krishna's supremacy and is shown. Only pastimes are not there.
Yes.
So that pastimes previously Vyasadeva has written in Padma Purana and different Puranas.
Pastimes are just Puranas.
And
correct?
Puranas. So why this Srimad Bhagavatam? He could have told that I have already written Bhagavad Gita in which completely glorification of Lord is there. And pastimes are mentioned in other Puranas. So why Srimad Bhagavatam is again like this, again written?
Yeah. So your objection is raised by Ved Vyas also, like you. And the answer is given in the 15th verse. In short, the answer is this, that Kali Yuga people, you have not only given Bhagavad Gita, I agree that at climax you have given right thing. The whole world is watching this fight, and the fight is about to happen, and then stop, and then there is lecture. And then everyone is eager, what happened, what? So I agree that you have given. But elsewhere, in the same Bhagavad Gita, you have given others also, right? So you have given other places. And lastly, you write Sarva Dharman Parityajya. But if you quote them, that see, now you are doing Swadharma, and now you have to give up Swadharma and go to that level. So they will say, no, that Ved Vyas has written this is my Dharma. So on your name, that is Jugupsitam Dharma Krute Anushas. 15th verse is telling that only. That my dear Ved Vyas, I understand your concern. But the problem is not with you. Problem is not with your intention. Problem is not with your literature also in one sense. Problem is there with the audience which will use the literature. On your name, they will not raise their standard of their consciousness. And they will quote you only. Tatha, what is itarata dharma? What is the verse says? Exactly that it says. So, dharma krute anushya. Swabhava raktasya. So they are very inclined to enjoy the material sense gratification. So what happens is, they will not tasya nivaranam jana. Yad vakyato dharma iti. Yad vakyato dharma iti. यही धर्म है. थर्ड चैप्टर में जो बोला ना, वेद व्यास बोला मैं वही करूंगा. इतिरतर स्थितो. And न मन्यते तस्य निवारणम. So if you tell them, no, Ved Vyas has told this also, na 18 chapter 66, can you read? No, that I will not accept. I accept Ved Vyas this. Or in other words, you have given the medicine in the capsule, right? But these people, what they will do, they like the external, but they don't like the medicine of Bhagavad Gita. Or in Mahabharata, there is Narayaniya also. Mahabharata, Bhishma's instructions are also there. Bhagavad Dharma also is spoken. So there are many places. But what these people will do, they will remove it, they throw the medicine and take the capsule, what they like. So this example was given by Kamal Lochan. So this is the problem. So it's true. So that way, that will come anyway, that discussion was there. What is that? You have given choice, yeah. You have given choice. Bhagavatam, see, that's why there is not much. See, Bhagavatam, 9th and 10th chapter only is the Param Guhya Gyan, right? That is pure devotion. Everything else is mixed devotion and Pradhani Bhut Bhakti or Guni Bhut Bhakti. But that's why yesterday Prabhupada saying that Bhagavad Gita is preliminary state, but Bhagavatam is beginning with the end of Bhagavad Gita. Sarva Dharman Paritejya se chalu hota. So the entirety is that pure devotion only. So that is the case. Like
As you are asking, there can be people who can use Bhagavatam also, right? But there is chance because Bhagavatam is personification of Krishna. And Bhagavatam person is may come in touch and that person may tell him also what is the age. And that can happen in Bhagavad Gita also. But the point is the receiver. Receiver, right? So that is the case. So, now the next two verses are telling about the literature. Even poetic works should be condemned if they are devoid of glorification of the Lord. Condemned as biased, right? So there are two verses. So one is called Anvay and one is called Vyatirek. So Vyatirek means what? A negative statement. And Anvay means positive statement. So this is the Vyatirek. In Vyatirek it is told, negative statement it is told that how the literature which is not containing glorification of Lord is like pilgrimage of cross. That is what the verse. And next verse is Anvay. Anvay means what? That literature which has many defects, but the goal is of Bhagavad Yash. Then it can create revolution in the empire's lives of people. So yes, maybe contrast is being shown here by an argument. So text 10. Nayatvajachitrapadam Hariyasho Jagatavitram Dikakalichit Tarvani Sakir Pakshan Vivasa Nayatramam Aryaman Trishistaya. So we like want to a place of the crowds. Since all perfect persons are candidates of the transcendental abode, they will derive with them. So what it is telling? Pragruhita is that which is describing that literature, those words which are describing with great ornaments, chitra padam, lot of alliterations and the linguists know all these things, lot of samas, alankar and all these things. Chitra padam, no awareness. If there is no glory of Lord anywhere, and that glory of Lord is how it has power of Jagat Paruta. But not yet, then third point is of Tirtha. That literature, which may be very ornamented with many embellishments, if doesn't contain Lord's glories anywhere, which can purify the entire world, third voice of Tirtham, that is the pilgrimage of prose. So this is thought of Manasam Shanti. The great souls like both Kumaras or the pure devotees, they think there to be pious Tirtha. Why? Because this Manasam is they think the Manasa, they always enjoy in the clean water bodies, that is Kushikshaya. But they don't enjoy the highest Tirtha. Niramanti is what they never enjoy it. Never. Nayatra Hamsa Niramanti Shikshaya. So that is the meaning here. So Prabhupada explains on one thing. So Manasa has 3-4 meanings. You can see the first meaning is amazing. So this already I told you. 4 Kumaras are also called Manasa, the sons of Brahma. Or Manasa also can mean those who are there in the mind of the Lord. Right? Here you can see. Manasa are the people who are there in the Lord's mind. That's why he's quoting this word. Tadavo Dayanmayam. So Manasa are the people who are situated in the Lord's mind. Or Manasa are those who destroy the respect of the literature which is programmed by not touching it. Right? So, whole mind glorifying them, but when it is presented in front of such people, they don't even look at it. So that is Sa. Sa is that which cut the man which is given to the pro-class literature by not finding pleasure in it. So such manasa are being, so such manasas don't take words. And here another important thing is vachaha means statement. The literal word is what? Vachaha means words or vocabulary purpose. So one may quote these words from Bhagavatam. And you see that there is no Hari glory here. If you see these words, what is the translation? The brothers gave to their youngest learned brother Navaga their father Nava as his share of property when he returned from Brahmacharya. Now, where is the glory of God here? So, Bhagavatam is also like that. Someone will say. But this is answered by quoting one verse. But my dear lads, don't say like that. So he said, it may be argued that none of the Puranas written by Vyas should be considered as place of truth. I mean, nothing is there completely devoid of tourism. Therefore, what is the problem? Why is this? Okay. There are people who are not there. What you are calling? Argument is quoting one verse. There is no glory. You are saying words. So he is answering by quoting one verse. Then the Vachana means the import of the word or the part of the entire story. So Vachaha. So Bhagavatam is such a Puran where the import story, import of any kind of it is in connection with Bhakti and Vishnu. So Sarga, Visarga, Chhanam, Pochanam. These 10 topics are there in all 10 Puranas. But they don't have any connection with the Supreme Lord. Whereas you take any of the topic in Bhagavatam, Sarga is connected to the Supreme Lord and the Visarga, Chhanam, anything you take. So that's how he quotes a brilliant verse from 11th canto, not 11th, 12th canto. Palimala samhati kalano pudesho hare Yate adhikshtam Ihato Bhagavan Sheshamurti Paripatito Anpadam Katha Prasangai. So see, here it is told, Hari Itarata Kiyate Adhikshtam. All other Puranas, actually, if you see this context, he is describing all other Puranas in number of verses, 12 canto, 12 chapter. And there at the last 66 verse is telling what is the difference. So all other Puranas are not glorifying Hari constantly, but what is in Bhagavatam here to Punar Bhagavan Sheshamurti Paripatito Param Kathapas. Anupadam means every word of every verse. Glorifying Lord Hari, but how it is glorified? Kathapasangai means what? The import of pastime or the conclusion of the pastime is Hari's glory. So here, Vachaha means the purpose of the words, not literally the words. Literally, words is but so many words, Bhagavatam, like was portrayed. So that's why the context is very important. The context, any Katha context is Bhakti to Krishna. Purely. That's how Bhagavatam is different than other Puranas. Other Puranas may have many glory, but the Katha is see most everywhere. You understand? The glory of God is there, but everything is Kathas. So the purpose is not the Guru Maharaj attend everything. You can approach the Supreme Lord. You will get it. This is the way. So Katha Prasanga is not giving your whereas in Bhagavatam Katha Prasanga is the glory of Hari. So that's how taking this verse and the next verse in Bhagavatam into consideration, the Uchaha should be general import of the discussion rather than the sentence, literal sentence. So that being the case, the chapters and stories of Bhagavatam are ornaments to the glory of God. And imagine they are not just glories, they are ornaments to the glories. If they are decorating the glories of Lord more by telling Katha. In other dharmas, however, many of the stories are devoted of glories of Lord and are therefore place of boast. So it is concluded. So that is not other Puranas for their wise wisdom, but those stories where there are no divide of glory, they are wise. Like that. So this is thus there is no contradiction. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is becoming very heavy, saying that it is that also is not the Purana. The story is that not describing glories of Hari, wise wisdom, not Puranas in itself. So, and then he is telling there is no contradiction, means no discussion further required, like that. So that's how he is clarifying. So Prabhupada in his purport first he tells that birds of the same feather flock together. So there are mentalities, attributes. So one associates accordingly, according to the taste. So that's how he says Vayas comes Tirtham means the place where the refuge, very amazing. Most the market literatures will attract men of the pro categories are literature containing refuge remnants of sensual topics. So our health department Keshav Prabhu, so he gave Bhagavatam class in this Bhagavad Bhakti Vaibhav. So he had chosen this one. He beautifully cited one thing. That Chitrapadam is used by the verse. Chitrapadam means what? Very alanka, very have literal embellishments. In English, I don't know what we say alanka. Literal embellishments and figurative speech and like that. But the purpose in English have used a lot of like that. So like refuse remnants of sensual topics. And like that there are 3-4 of them together. So very unique words where it is using for criticizing. So remnants itself are already rejected. Remnant is what? That which is rejected. But someone is taking that and he refuses that also. Like Raghunath Das was coming, his refuse. So it's very heavy to this. Very amazing words. Refuse remnants of sensual topics. So it is like a dead body. It is considered a decoration of dead body. So it's a very, very unique, heavy words of criticism. Kakatulyanam Kaminam Vayastirthi means what? The crow class will like the lusty people who are like crow will enjoy only dead bodies or prostitutes also like that. So they are all refuse remnants of sensuous topics like that. So Mandanam Lokaranjan, that we know that Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jatu Shastra Tapam something like that. Apranasya Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjan. So same thing. So because of not having glory of God, they are like dead body. Imagine that literature has to be seen like that. Newspaper has to be seen like that. Or it has to be smelled like that. But do we see like that? No, at least I also do. Sometimes if we go to some doctor or something, sometimes newspaper is there. So there is some interest to see what is going on. So at that time we can remember this. That it should stink actually. This is all rubbish made literature. Although I am not able to smell it. Right. So that's why Prabhupada is comparing that with decoration of a dead body. They can hardly help the spiritual urge of human being. all this. So actually the spiritual earth is there in every living being, like Anandamaya of this. So in Bhagavatam in introduction he writes, what is Bhagavatam? He says, I have written there, you can see. It is Bhagavatam is a purely transcendental urge of the soul. This is on introduction proper there. So Bhagavatam is purely transcendental urge of the soul to be satisfied by this literature, not any other literature. But these other literatures are not even touching that urge. Rather, they are destroying that urge. So that's why they are very harmful, and they are not approached by them. So pleasure of prostitute hunters according to Sridhar Swami. So having said that, now it has the positive side. Tadvavisargo Janata Vindalo Yasmati Pratishlo Madhya Madhyavi Namayan Taskesham Daniel Sharantigadan Visadavana.
The other hand, that literature which is full of description of the transcendental glories of the land, fair, found, pastimes, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards bringing about a revolution in the imposed lives of this world, world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by the purified man who are
Thoroughly honest.
thoroughly honest.
So what it is saying now, third Vak Visarga. Vak Visarga is like Vata. Vak Visarga means creation of words. Okay. That words which can create what Janata Agam Viplava, which can create revolution in the empire's life, simple life among people in general. What is that? In that there is Namani Anantasya Yashom Kitan. They are indicating the glories of the holy name of the Lord. Although they might be just be Pratishlokam Abhadyavad. In that there will be some mistake also, grammatical mistake. Abhadyavad means some literal mistake. Sanskrit grammatical mistake. It might be there. But still it will have effect of Vipla. In spite of forget about having little embarrassment. Even with mistakes. But the goal is to glorify Hari or Hari's holy name. Then the sadhava, those who are thoroughly honest. So thoroughly honest means recently I came to a study. Kala Chakra Krishna. So honest means what? No ulterior motivation. Thoroughly honest. Sadhava. For those who don't see the faults, sadhava. What they will do with these literatures? They will do three things. So one thing, when there is opportunity to hear, they will hear. If there is opportunity to speak, they will speak. If both opportunities are not there, they will sing. Either they will speak, or they will hear, or they will sing. That's how they will take pleasure in that pure glorification of the Supreme Lord. So it's a very special purport of Prabhupada, actually, very big purport. But the most amazing part is at the end, where Prabhupada is actually entire thing is predicted. See, this Prabhupada wrote it there only. In India only he wrote like this. Vrindavan only he wrote, quite before. So, see the feeling of Prabhupada. Last part we read first and then come back. See here what we see. We are sure, therefore, everyone in human society will welcome the Srimad Bhagavatam, even though it is now presented with so many faults, or it is recommended by such authority as Sri Narada, who has very kindly appeared in this chapter. So see how Prabhupada is feeling the kindness of Narada Muni. Because Prabhupada is doing something similar to what Ved Vyas was doing. Seeing all commentaries and writing, and he's saying that Sri Narayana has so kindly appeared now. Although there might be many faults, I am very sure that everyone in human society, all over the world, they will welcome Bhagavad. So this is the faith of Prabhupada. This is the prediction where of what is going to happen. So where Prabhupada is able to feel the kindness of Narada Muni by writing this verse, who has kindly appeared in this chapter. It's like Prabhupada is feeling the presence of Narada Muni. It's writing, and his personal writing, his conviction. But there are many faults in this literature, what I have written. Although he was quite great scholarly, Prabhupada, Sanskrit scholar, Kavi, still he is humbly saying there may be many faults. But this is the prediction that Prabhupada is having that faith on Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why he had faith on two things actually. Transcendental sound, that is holy sound, holy name and holy fame, that is Bhagavatam and holy thing. And instruction of Guru. That's how he carried everything with him. Right? So that's how he had. And here Prabhupada writes many things. Some things we can see. Yeah, please read this. The influence of how polluted atmosphere will be improved. Okay, read this.
But exchange is far above the level of a modern is always a term of good points, not because everyone custom between and being stripped down. The polluted atmosphere of the world will change. And as a result of propagating the person to replace the vegetable Bhagavatam, people will become sane in their transactions.
Yeah. So actually, first two paragraphs are all about how Bhagavatam is able to be the solution of the current state of people. Because it's greatly polluted in terms of actions and intention. But only way, and because of that wrong actions, the transactions have become like animals. Right? But Prabhupada is saying by Bhagavatam, first thing people will become being human. Right? There are t-shirts, being human. But they will become human. Same in transaction means what? Human level. The transactions which they are doing, they are same. They may be pure is further. Same means there, there is some culture in the transaction. So same, very unique words. In their transaction, they will become same. And then he tells about Kali Yuga's addition in there. Because Kali Yuga is what is the problem? Kali Yuga, the problem is quarrel and hypocrisy. The atmosphere is surcharged with quarrel and hypocrisy. So even if there are no problems, problems are created. So China and all Hindus. Next paragraph. Yeah, here. Here it is. We have it has gone up. Here. So it is not that both parties, even if they don't have problem, but the atmosphere is such that the Kali Yuga will cause problem. We give Hindi Chini bye bye. Now we are fighting. Because God fearing, pure hearted simpleness has gone. And political diplomacy has taken over, which was not there before. Now there is so much useless, but even they are fighting, which you cannot do anything, but they are fighting on it. So problem is with the age of Kali atmosphere. So what is it? Hypocrisy and quarrel. So hypocrisy is within and quarrel is without. So hypocrisy has to be dealt with integrity or truthfulness, and quarrel has to be dealt with cooperation. So it's not dealt with, but quarrel can be avoided by mode of cooperation. And hypocrisy can be avoided by trying to practice integrity or truthfulness, which is the only pillar remaining in this Kali Yuga. Right? So, but the atmosphere will force us to act in opposite ways. But Bhagavatam will help us to have a cooperative mood and integrity or truthfulness. So not allow Kali to enter. So Kali enters in relationships, Kali enters in communities, Kali enters families through these two. So that's why he's saying that there is always chance of quarrel or slight provocation. This is not due to issuing question, but the polluted atmosphere of the speech. And there is so much systematic propaganda of so many other things. Rather, ulta propaganda is to stop the glorification of it. So what we are supposed to do as Indian? So we are supposed to broadcast the transcendental message of Bhagavatam. So we must distribute Bhagavatam. At the same time, along with distributing books of Bhagavatam, we have to distribute the message of Bhagavatam also. By helping people to open the books, and we also open the books and spend time with it. So it's about message of Bhagavatam. Then desire peace in world will come. So see his confidence, he has not done anything, but he has that conviction. How much conviction is coming out in this purpose? We are confident. Only if leaders take seriously this message, the people will become proper. So there will be purification of heart if only the leading men. Only the leading men. Certainly there will be change of heart. Naturally, people will follow. And if there is change of heart of the leaders, certainly there will be radical change in atmosphere of growth. So that is his conviction. And then he is telling about his great humility, that there might be many discrepancies, but still sincere people will take it. And then he tells about mode of cooperation, because it's an emergency situation. Like fire is there, then you don't worry which language you use. It's failure. So current situation is like, so Kali Yuga, there is emergency. So although in language there are some distinct, yeah, this part can be this the same spirit of cooperation.
Cooperation is needed to broadcast this transmitted message, the Srimad Bhagavatam, throughout the political atmosphere. After all, it is a technical science of spiritual values, and thus we are concerned with the techniques with language. If the techniques of the great literature are understood by the people of the world, there will be success.
Yeah. So it's very important that Bhagavatam is a technical science of spiritual values. So it has to be properly understood. The science has to be understood and then it can be administered. The moment we see that I know it, then finished. I know the conclusion. No, but let us see what is given, what is the technique, what Prabhupada is speaking about. We very clearly say that if techniques of this great teacher are understood, the spiritual values are understood. What is the value has to be understood. Like yesterday, Tulsi Prabhupada was clearly telling this class, the value. When that value is given, then proper message will go. So many things will go on. Like, I think Doran Prabhu says, earlier, ISKCON was 18.60. Now ISKCON is entire Bhagavad Gita. What does that mean? That pure bhakti means bhakti, whatever, karma, everything is there. So, what is to be valued? If you value something else, then that will grow. If you value right thing, it will grow. So, what is that right thing which is to be valued? That will be told in this. That's why Nityam Bhagavad. Otherwise, we will end up valuing something. And then will be decided. Because Ved Vyas has not done that. Ved Vyas has not given the highest value for which highest value has to be given. So we need to do bridge preaching. But for our nourishment, nowadays should be in the four things. Bridge preaching is there for flexibility. But our nourishment should come from the pure message. Otherwise, the same thing. What Ved Vyas did is the same thing, right? So that's why it's very important to understand the technical science of the spiritual branch. Otherwise, it's externally appears very simple, we are doing compassionate activity. Surely we are doing, but do we have compassion? That's the question. Right? So that's the thing. There will be activities which are compassionate by Prabhupada. But what Prabhupada expects from us is also given by Prabhupada. So if we want to know Prabhupada, we have to read his books. And books are the first and foremost. Below the books, everything else is there. What are other things? Books, lectures, books are the highest, and that are law books for entire society for 10 years. Because Prabhupada far about while writing. But when he gave lectures, it was given for that audience. So we don't know who was sitting there. So that is second priority. Third priority is room conversation. Room conversation, there are very few people. And we don't even know what are their cases. That is third. The fourth is letter, which is even more confidentially written to person. So we cannot then take them very seriously. In the sense of Siddhant. Siddhant is here. The technical spiritual techniques are given in the books of Prabhupada. So that should be the highest praman because Siddhanta is given. And all the things are supporting that. Right? That's why if we want to know Prabhupada, read Prabhupada books. If we want to go closer to Prabhupada, distribute Prabhupada books. So this was the statement made by His Holiness Shivram Swami, who was speaking on this Guru Tattva. Because so many other books are being distributed and so many other things. So if we want to know Prabhupada, read Prabhupada books. And if we want, because night he spent for writing these books, not the letters. Letters he wrote in the morning. And letters don't get power. So the foundation is books. Right? And if you want to go closer to Prabhupada, then distribute those books. But because they contain the pure message, as it is, without any letters. With his conviction, with his humility, with his everything. So, rule, that is the rule. So, again, Prabhupada comes to Kali Yuga, that Kali Yuga is very dangerous. That is the rule of this age of Kali or Pala. What is that? Slight provocation with love. So, this can happen even in community of devotees. So, if we are focused on the techniques which are given in Bhagavatam, then we may not enter into those. It may happen. We will continue following whatever is told. And then he tells about obscene literature, why it is coming. So obscene literature, even I think here also currently the government tried to stop the pornography now, some months back, but it was opposed, right? So that same thing Prabhupada is writing, that time government did not want the obscene literature. But that was also opposed because want for sensitive. So responsible leaders. Yesterday the video was shown by Radhesham Puri. I was wondering why. So, but later I understood what is going on. What is the purpose, right? Not understand. After that, I WhatsApp के बारे में चल रहे क्या चल रहा है मुझे समझ नहीं. So that's responsible leaders don't want it very clearly saw. UK Prime Minister. But it is going on for want of sin. So what is the solution? Change the taste. Change the taste will happen only by Bhagavatam. There is no other solution. There is no other solution. If you create the correct mind's activities cannot be reduced by anything other than Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam is Krishna. And Krishna can do so. So what we have to do is this. Please read this. Similarly,
Let there be systematic propaganda for popularizing reading of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, which will act like sugar candy for the jaundice-like condition of self-gratification. When men have a taste for this literature, the literatures which are catering poison to society, then automatically cease.
Yeah, thank you. So what we are supposed to do? Systematic propaganda for popularizing the reading of Srimad. Right? So from that first, we have to properly get Shimona. To do the propaganda, right? So we do lot of propaganda systematic for distributing Bhagavatam. Wonderful. We should do counselor groups and targets and inspirational talks and gifts, and that's perfect. That's what Prabhupada wants. But same thing can be done even for reading also. But someone is reading, give them give that. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. Systematic propaganda is what planning. Propaganda is propaganda. So this is what is instruction for all of us. At least wherever we are reading, the Prabhupada is saying that this is the thing. And he is not now reading Bhagavad Gita also, but reading of it. Many times we distribute freely also. But how many people are reading it on? So we have to do both. We have to distribute literature and then inspire people to read the literature. Right? By emphasizing it and then changing the taste is not so easy. Prabhupada is saying, right? But that's what is the only solution. So that's what Prabhupada is asking every one of us, especially the Indians, that it's the message of Bhagavatam, which is the only solution for peace, prosperity in all the cases and circumstances. And Kali cannot enter if we properly do this propaganda. So that's how this verse is telling. Now, the next verse is telling that not just the word, not just the word, but the work, karma, or the wisdom, or jnana, that is also useless if it is without bhakti. That is the next verse. Words are useless, work is useless, wisdom is useless. Without bhakti. That's what is told. So that is the next verse. Nishkarmamapyachyuta bhavavartitam shobhayena marantirajana utam purushya svatata bhavishvare sarvam saptakaram.
Knowledge of self-realization, even though free from all material affinity, does not look well if divided of the conception of the infallible or what there is the use of beauty activities which are naturally painful from the very beginning, transient by nature, if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord.
So what this verse is telling is this. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling here, Kaimutya next. Kaimutya means what is Kaimutya? क्या कह रहे अगर ऐसा है तो उसका क्या like Kaimutya Kimutra. So like that. So he is saying that न केवलम वचो मात्रम एवं भक्ति रहितम व्यर्थम. Now the words which are divided of Lord Bhakti are useless. Even the Shastric knowledge, theoretical knowledge, which is aparoksha jnana. Aparoksha means that only you are seeing through someone else's eyes. That is aparoksha. If it is bhakti rahitam, that is also vyartham. Aparoksha jnana is theoretical knowledge. Is vyartham. Not that real knowledge is also vyartham. Paroksha jnana. But I said paroksha is seen through other side and aparoksha is realization. What to speak of then Nishkam karma which produces it? If it is not offered to the spirit, that is also व्यर्थ. Then what to speak of Sakam karma which is always useless? Shashvat abadha. Means what? Because Sakam karma has selfishness at the beginning of. Very separate in the beginning, middle and end. So what to speak of that if it is not offered to the spirit? So like that, four things are. So Naishkarmam api Achyuta Bhava. So Achyuta Bhava Varditam is the key word here. So what is Achyuta Bhava Varditam? What is the meaning of Achyuta Bhava? So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is very important to get. Achyuta Bhava means the conception of Supreme Lord's body to be material. In the sense of Varditam. One who considers Lord's body to be material is Achyuta Bhava. If that is there, or in other words, avajananti mamula. That verse is Achyut Bhava. If that is done, then Mogana, Moga Karma, Moga Jesus. All the endeavors will be put. Same thing what Krishna told in confidential knowledge, right? Whether it is 9th chapter of it, what confidential knowledge. Same thing is told. So karma, jnana, or even bhakti, if that all is there, it will be futile. Moga, same thing here. Not shobhate. Not shobhate means what? It doesn't look good. Means what? It will not give you result. What you look for. So what all things are there? Jnana. So two types of jnana. Niranjanam jnana. So Niranjanam Jnana means realized knowledge. And theoretical knowledge is only Jnana. Niranjanam means without giving paths. Person has reached the Jivan Mukta stage. But if he has no Achyut Bhava, again he will fall from Jivan Mukta stage. ये अन्य अरविंदाक्ष विमुक्त मानस त्वयंत भाव अविशिष्ट बुद्धि. So they are anamudita yashmata. So they will fall from that state of Jivan Mukta. Right? So that is what is told in this verse. Not sure, you will not. So what to speak of? See, realized knowledge is used without proper power. And what to speak of theoretical knowledge? There is anyway inclusion. And what to speak of? Shashvat Adabham Ishware Karma means Takam Karma. And then what is of Yadapi Akaranam? Akaranam means Ishtam Akaranam Karma. And Shashvat Abhadra Karma. These two are Sakam and Ishtam. But when they will be do that, not Chamit. When they are not offered to the Supreme Lord, they will also be do that. But if it is offered, then it becomes Bhagavatarpit, Nishkam or whatever, Sakam. It will have some effect. So that's how this whole thing is told. All the whatever the stages of different practices. If there is lack of offering to Krishna, the fruits, or lack wrong attitude towards Krishna's form, both will cause no result in the process. That's how it is very clearly delineating the fact that even wisdom and work is useless without bhakti. So that's what this verse speaks about. So, Srila Prabhupada also says the same thing. You see here, what is this Achyut Bhava, in which one thinks of the Lord who has a form of knowledge and bliss, but he thinks, this is Achyut Bhava, that Lord has form of Sachitana, but what it means without, so he will not have. So he gives some, actually, Jivan Mukta Punar Bandham Yanti Karma. So even the liberated person are being bound by karma if he commits offense against the Lord. So he gives praman for that, what we say in this Parikshit Vachanam. Then Jivan Mukta, if he is going, if he sees the Supreme Lord, the liberated soul sometimes are subjected to birth and death. But the yogis who surrender to Lord are not touched by that. So this opposite thing is. Well, the effect of jnana is destruction of karma only. Don't think that by jnana you will attain liberation. No. You can destroy your dharma, but you cannot get liberation without birth. It has to be mixed in the process. You can destroy karma. That's Bhagavad Gita is quoted. Yeah. So, since jnana derived of real bhakti to the Lord, the offense caused by thinking that the Lord is materialist, unavoidable. So that's what happens. One is not mixing bhakti, then surely he will commit offense. So that's what it is there. Prabhupada also gives that link. That words, not only words, but wisdom also. So impersonal Brahman and karma. Now Shobhati means it will not fruitful. Can be fruitful only when made subservient to the devotional service. Same principles are told very clearly. Now he tells the instructions to the him. Right? So now it's already in two. So we will continue tomorrow and we need to complete this. So we will do the needful what is required. So if any one of you have any questions, you may remain feedback or whatever. And otherwise we pause here for today. Then Yes.